So, if you've spent any time online lately, you've definitely heard the term brain rot. It's that feeling you get after scrolling through endless, kind of nonsensical videos. But what if it's more than just a funny word for bad content? What if it's a real symptom of something much, much deeper that's happening to our culture?
All right, let's go straight to the front lines. With teachers. When educators are comparing what they see in their classrooms every day to an episode of Black Mirror, well, this is serious. This isn't just complaining about kids these days. This is a real distress signal.
And, that alarm bell just gets louder and louder. Teachers are describing students who are so glued to their phones that the second the dismissal bell rings, they're not even talking to their friends. They're not running outside. Their heads just snap down to their phones. They're scrolling before they've even walked out the classroom door. It's a dependency that's becoming, honestly, kind of scary.
So, that brings us to our first big point here. We're not just talking about kids being a little distracted. The stories and the data coming from educators, well, they're painting a picture of a full-blown crisis, one that's being fueled by a level of screen time that is just completely unprecedented.
Okay, get a load of this number. 20+ hours. Some high schoolers have actually shown their teachers screen time reports that are this high. And you're probably thinking, wait, how is that even possible? There are only 24 hours in a day. Well, it means their phone is on, it's active, it's streaming something while they're in class, while they're doing homework, even when they're supposed to be asleep. It is near total immersion.
And the fallout from all this, well, it's pretty grim. Teachers are seeing a huge spike in everything from serious academic problems to major behavior issues. They're seeing kids who just don't have basic social skills anymore. There's this widespread apathy, poor hygiene, and of course, constant, never-ending cyberbullying. The screen isn't just a window to the world. For some, it's starting to replace it.
All right, so let's get specific. I want to break down a perfect example of this to really understand how it works. We are going to dissect one of the wildest, most viral trends out there right now, a little something called Italian brain rot.
Oh yeah, if you're on TikTok or YouTube Shorts, you have absolutely seen these things. It's this chaotic collage of AI-generated pictures and these super catchy Italian-sounding songs. They're designed from the ground up to be weird, addictive, and shared like crazy. And on the surface, it's just colorful nonsense.
And these characters, you can't make this stuff up. You've got Ballerina Cappuccina, who is exactly what she sounds like. There's Chimpanzini Banini, a green chimp in a banana peel. Bombardino Crocodillo, a crocodile that's also a bomber plane. And of course, the now legendary Tralalero Tralala, a shark that has better sneakers than I do.
It all seems so random, right? So silly, maybe even pointless. But here's the question we really have to ask ourselves. In the world we live in today, is anything online ever just nonsense? Or is all that meaninglessness a kind of camouflage?
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. Because when we start to peel back the layers on this stuff, beneath all the goofy animations and the catchy little songs, there's a whole other story being told. And it's one that most of the people watching have no idea about. So there's actually a name for this kind of content, AI slop. It's basically a reaction to something called format fatigue. We are so bombarded with information, some people call it being infoxicado or information drunk, that normal jokes just don't cut through anymore. So what happens? Creators make stuff that's meta-ironic. There's no punchline. The joke is that there is no joke. It's just a sensory overload designed to grab your eyeballs. And this is the twist. The creators of these memes are using a language barrier as a tool. Those catchy, gibberish-sounding Italian phrases, they aren't just gibberish. They are hiding very specific and often pretty offensive messages right out in the open.
Okay, let's start with the big one, Tralalero Tralala. On the surface, it's a cute song about a shark, but if you actually speak Italian, the audio is packed with profanity aimed at both the Christian God and at Allah. It is straight-up blasphemy, just disguised as a kid's song. And it gets even darker with Bombardino Crocodillo. Looks like a silly cartoon, right? Well, the audio track has these really disturbing lines about bombing children in Palestine and hating religion. It's taking real-world violence and repackaging it as a goofy, shareable joke.
And it's not just about violence or swearing. Take this character, Tung Tung Sahur. It was created in Indonesia, and the creepy little chant is designed to mimic, and many would say mock, the Islamic tradition of waking people up to fast during Ramadan. It's cultural insensitivity turned into a viral, spooky meme. And look, you have to understand the cultural context here because it's everything. For most of us, hearing this might just sound edgy or weird. But in Italy, bestemmie, religious profanities are a huge social taboo. They aren't just regular curse words, they're seen as deeply, deeply offensive. And that context makes the hidden messages in these memes anything but harmless.
Okay, so we've established these memes are basically hiding Trojan horses. Now what happens when they go viral? What's the real effect of all this seemingly weightless content piling up?
I love this quote from a curator named Jack Thomas Taylor because it's just perfect for this. One meme is like one feather. It's light, it's pretty insignificant. But when you get millions and millions and millions of them all flying around at once, they start to add up. They create a real cultural weight that can actually shift opinions and normalize some pretty extreme ideas.
And this stuff spreads like wildfire, especially when it's not true. Research from MIT found that on X, false information is an incredible 70% more likely to be retweeted than true information. Memes are the perfect vehicle for this. They're emotional, they're funny, they're easy to digest. It makes them a ridiculously effective form of modern propaganda.
So, where do we go from here? What are we supposed to do with all this? Is it all just doom and gloom, or is there a way to actually navigate this new kind of chaotic world?
But before we get all doom and gloom, there's actually a weird, unintentional upside to all this. Some linguists have pointed out that by mimicking these silly sounds, millions of people are accidentally getting a crash course in Italian phonetics. And for some of them, it's sparking a real curiosity about the language and the culture. It's like language learning by accident.
But for dealing with all the downsides, especially with kids, experts say the key is to not criticize, but to get curious. Just ask, hey, what's that meme you're watching? Where's it from? Let's look it up. It opens a door. A door to then explain that, sometimes jokes can hide hurtful messages, even if we don't get it at first. The goal is to build a kind of digital empathy, to just get people to think before they share.
And that really leaves us with this one last huge question. In a world where AI can pump out endless slop, content that's totally disconnected from any human intent, who's responsible for what it all means? Is it the person who created it? Is it the algorithm that pushes it into our feeds? Or is it us, the people who watch and laugh and share and turn all those feathers into something with real weight? That's something we're all going to have to figure out.